Hi, my name is Lucia Starbuck and I'm with the Reynolds Sandbox. Today we're at the Student Documentary Film Festival, where 6 different groups of students from the Reynolds School of Journalism film documentaries. There's different topics like the gay rodeo, some groups went out of the country, ultimate frisbee, street vibrations, the local music scene. So we're gonna go talk to some of the students about their documentary. Let's go. Dante, tell us a little bit about your documentary. What's the title and what was your role?
The title of our documentary is Loner Boys, and it's about a band in Reno and just kind of like the struggle of making music and being creative when you've got everything else in your life going on.
What was the biggest struggle that you found from this?
Scheduling, for sure. Just like being the director, it's really hard to get everybody, both crew and cast-wise, all together on the same page.
Was there any time that you wanted to quit?
No.
Of course. And why is this documentary personally important to you?
It's just really fun to grow as a creative artist like this, so.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We worked on the film Hucky. It was about the ultimate frisbee team here at UNR. Pretty much, it's your typical sports documentary. Last season, the team didn't do too well, or as well as we had expected. And so it was a bit of a heartbreak last season. And that's where the story kind of picks off, is where do we go from here, from losing, bringing in new people, teaching them the ropes, and where do we go from here? And that's kind of what it's about. The story itself isn't really about winning or losing, but it's more about building a community and building a family with your teammates and with your coaches, and yeah.
So my documentary is called Rainbow Rodeo, and it's based on the Reno Gay Rodeo, which was held in Reno. It started in the mid-1970s and was held consistently in Reno until the mid-1980s. There's an international gay rodeo movement that was started, and it's all started here in Reno. So we're basically explaining how it came to be.
Oh wow, that's so cool to hear that it came from Reno. I love that. And what do you hope people take away from your documentary tonight?
I hope that they learn a little bit of history, and this history is just so very personal to the people who were involved with it too. And I think, especially with LGBTQ plus history, it often gets not looked at or not taken seriously, and I want it to not only be remembered but be taken seriously, and make sure we talk to the people before they end up going away, because a lot of the people that we interviewed are getting up in their years.
And why is this documentary personally important to you?
I'm a member of the LGBTQ community myself, and I grew up in a rural area, and I think it's important to tell those stories that, I always assumed that gay people only lived in cities when I was growing up, and that's simply not true. And I think this brings a part of rural culture and LGBTQ plus people together.
Oh, that seems really special.
Yeah.
Leah, tell me about your documentary. What's the title and your role?
Our documentary is called Ciudad de Immigrantes, and it's about people from the United States that are now living in Tijuana. Some people were born in Tijuana, but mostly we are featuring people from the United States who have moved to Tijuana because it's a really lovely, very interesting, dynamic city to live in.
Oh wow, and did your group travel to go film over there?
We did. We, in the middle of October, we spent a week down there in Tijuana, so we had a real good sense of what the city's like.
Oh, that seems like so much fun.
Yeah, it was great.
And what do you hope people take away from your documentary tonight?
What I'd like for people to understand is that Tijuana, like any city, of course, does have some problems, but overall it's a city filled with people that really want to be here, that are doing great things, and that love Mexico, and in particular the city of Tijuana.
Yeah, so our documentary is called Bad Vibes. It's about the street vibrations, motorcycle, jamboree kind of thing that happens here in Reno. And we had kind of a segue part of it is about the shooting that took place in 2011 at the Nugget Casino. I was the videographer, the producer, and the editor for the film.
Oh wow, and what do you hope people take away from it tonight?
I think it kind of shares two different lights. One is obviously there's a very bad name on people who ride motorcycles and are in associated gangs. But there's also another side to it. They do so much more than just that. There's community-based, volunteer-based. So I think it kind of adds two different aspects of that community and shows, yes, this did happen, and it happened here in Reno, well, actually in Sparks, but as well as these people are donating to the community and fundraising, and they're not just the negative sides of that.
It's basically about a community in Michoacan, Mexico, who they overthrew their local government and police in 2011, and now they're self-governing, so it's pretty interesting.
Oh my gosh, did you guys travel over there, and what was that like?
I did go there. It was quite the shock to find that people have been self-governing for 8 years. That was the whole point of going over there, was to see if such a thing is possible. The film has a heavy anarchistic undertone.
I like that. And what was the hardest part of making this film for you guys? Oh my gosh, the deep breath.
One of the hardest parts was probably the translation, because they have a sort of dialect of Spanish that's a little bit more broken than most other parts of Mexico, and we just had trouble coordinating with translators and like getting that implemented into the documentary itself. So, but we have a final product, so at least we're happy.
I feel great. I'm really happy that people connected with it. That's, the whole goal of this thing. So.
Of course, and what's next for you? You were saying that you kind of want to do something full length. Do you see documentary in your future?
Yeah, we've been raising money to try to take it full length and do some more traveling to meet some more people who are involved with it. There's a female bull rider that we really want to connect with. If you're familiar with typical rodeo culture, women were closed out from bull riding for many years, and so in gay rodeos they were allowed to do that. And we really want to shed light on that side of the story too.
And you guys just won Audience Best Choice and Editing. Yeah. Yes, and how do you feel?
I feel good. I was very nervous, but it feels good, like all the hard work just finally paid off. Yeah.
Of course. What was your favorite part about all of this?
Probably like the storyboarding for the film. We took all the footage, which was kind of brutal because we were there like twice a week. But storyboarding it and like gathering the story for it, because there were so many different things that happened. I just like the process of like making the story of the film. Yeah.
I hope the people that came to see the films reconsider get more curiosity about their own communities, or maybe question what they thought about another country. In this case, we had 2 films from Mexico, what they think politically, all these sorts of things. I hope they question their own kind of thinking just a little bit, or maybe become more interested in their community and what kinds of interesting stories are there.